Hi, folks. Back again. Welcome, Ginger fans. So, okay, next one we're going to do is Judgment and Punishment official video. I've got this one requested quite a lot. I'm going to have to do retrospection as well at some point, so maybe get that done sometime soon. So, yeah, here we go. Without further ado, let's get to it. After 3, 2, 1, go. Right, okay, so it was weird because up until that last bit, my brain was kind of thinking, this is pretty straightforward in terms of what's going on for Ginger. Just sort of locked into that sort of riff, which is kind of going around, very slow and groovy. Even those sort of reggae elements there that are coming in, very inaudible, should we say? I don't even know if that's a word, but just here we go. But I don't know, whatever happened in that last section completely threw me on that. I really struggled to find out what was happening, like where the groove was on that. I don't know. I really should go back and try and figure that out. I'm a little nervous though, because normally after 2 or 3 cycles of a riff, I've kind of locked on and I've got a good idea of what's happening there. Couldn't catch that one at all, the placement of the snare or whatever was going on. Yeah, unusual. Yeah, cool. Right. So let's go back a little bit. See, I wasn't really paying an awful lot of attention to the video, I have to say. I did get little elements there of the jars with the creatures in there. Made me think of the Alien films, Aliens, the second film, 1986, I think it was, James Cameron. Ooh, yeah, I like movies as well. You probably know that by now. You see the background. The face huggers in, the experimentation thing like that. I just got to throw back to that. Anyway. Can't get that at all. Do you know what I really like about that bit is, I know she has put on the sort of affectation of the vocals to give that sort of reggae kind of style, and the band is playing within that. But you hear like each element, the guitar, the bass, and the drums have got their own little parts going on there. It's not what I would kind of expect from that music. I'm not a big reggae. It's not that I would say I'm not a big fan. It's a genre of music that I don't know an awful lot about, apart from the sort of typical things that people would know, like Bob Marley and so on. It's not my type of music, from what I've listened to. I don't mind it. It's just, it doesn't really grab me. But in my mind, what I normally would expect there is something kind of straightforward from the instruments to sort of, to set up the vocal. The guitar sounds a little bit more ornate than what I would expect, with the sort of arpeggiated chords, and the bass has a very predominant kind of hook kind of aspect. The bass seems to be the main thing driving it to me there. Just initial thoughts, remember? It's all initial. You can't actually hear the guitar doing that sort of typical bam, bam. There's a chord, but it's layered on top, as you can hear. Like there's some sort of almost ethereal kind of quality to what's happening with the guitar there. Chord. Dear da 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 da. Lovely tone on the bass.
All your good intentions are muted and disabled. Tell me what you're gonna bring to the table. Do you know we're gonna eat at the same table? This is what it is.
What is going on there? Okay, I think I got it. Da, da, da. So it's like a kind of I think it's a drummer throwing me off with that crash, wherever he's placing that crash cymbal. I was trying to ignore the crash cymbal that time and listen to what's happening with the bass drum and the kick and the sort of rhythm to her singing. It sounds like that's the beat to me. But the divisions are in 3. Da 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 da. But he's doing something unusual with the crash cymbal, which is really throwing me. So that's what it sounded like. I think I've got that now. I wouldn't be surprised that even though that's what's happening, if there's the odd bar in there where it's like a different time signature, that could, compound the difficulty. So divisions of 3 there as well. Yeah, there's the groove. Right, so that's all on the drummer there. The drummer is like, I don't know if there's like a sort of cheeky aspect here going like, okay, so, see if you can figure this one out, guys. Or, it's maybe not. It's maybe just, how can we make that, just more interesting to listen to? Because that wasn't actually the crash. The more I listened to that, the crash was on the beat. It's the placement of the kick and the snare. That's what's going on. It's instead of da 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 da, and just keeping that. You really focus on the kick and the snare. He's changing like the where they are appearing in the bar. He's changing the placement of those. So although it's the same beats in every bar and the crashes there, those are being moved slightly in every bar. So it's given that sort of disorientating feel. So I don't know if any of you guys, when you listen to that section as well, kind of find that, at least maybe the first time you listen to it, did you find it hard to nod along to that? Go, because usually that's the sign when you get into the sort of progressive elements of music, with time signatures. If you're watching, if you watch people listening, if you're at a gig, I always find it looking at the people beside you, you can see sometimes it goes from this to, the confusion comes on the face as you just, what's going on there? Other people just keep moving, and you can tell from the way they're moving that it sounds like they don't really get it anyway, but they're just continuing to move anyway. And then you always get a few people sort of like, I know exactly what's going on here, So yeah, that'd be interesting that you can let me know whether that section, through you the first time you heard it, or maybe just whatever way it sounded to me. Like I just couldn't catch it that first time there. I think I've got it now. Yeah, there's the beat. It's straightforward. It's all the placement of the kicks and the snares. Very clever. Oh. So if you were to bring the atmosphere of fear, don't bother, brother. Don't bother, brother. The power of speech is under the way. Poison is built. Dirty mouths. I don't know. Did you notice I pointed to the camera there just as a sort of, that was like a little mental thing. Must say that, remember? There's something about that sort of that riff reminded me of like an old Deftones song. Can't remember what song it is. It doesn't really matter. But something about that. I just got a Deftones vibe, big time. I've never heard them in Jinjer before, so it's just something about that. Whatever, it just triggered that little memory. I might find, if I met it in this video, maybe try and find that. I think I know what it is now. I think I know what it is. It's one of, it's either, is it? It's either My Own Summer or what was the other one that's really good? I think it is. I actually think it's My Own Summer, Shove It or whatever. You know, that's going back, show my age. Anyway, right, that's really cool, that section there. You know, I don't know, the snare sound is incredible, really. You know, it's so exposed that, you know, whenever the instrument, you can just hear the snare on its own. It's weird because the tone of that snare sounds quite high pitched in sound to me, but it has a lot of impact to it. So I don't know whether they've layered that with a couple of different snare sounds. You know, it's a kind of common technique whenever you're recording drums that, you know, you layer sounds. Well, to record any instrument, you know, there's a lot of layering goes on. So you're maybe getting the crack of that snare being the predominant thing, but, you know, there could be like a sampled snare in underneath that, you know, just to provide weight to it or whatever. I'm not sure what has gone into it, like, but there's a real snap off it, but it still sounds really full to me. You know, it's really nice sound. Do you know that Deftones I was singing? It's just one note. It's a it's that. It's just that note. I don't know why. It's just reminding me of that because all the palm mutes, or the palm mutes, it's none of the rest of it sounds the same. It's heavy, man. Great riff. That's exactly what makes us go even further. This is what it is. Another beast of narrow minds cannot believe in what they hear. The system of beliefs, experiences, stress, mental and something else I should say there, you know, you know, anybody who's been following my channel, you probably noticed by now I don't talk an awful lot about the vocals, because it's not really my wheelhouse, you know. The vocals are really beautiful. You know, I have to make a point of saying that. They're, you know, very emotional, very heartfelt. You know, I really should at this point take an opportunity to say how incredible I do think Tatiana is. I don't think I've talked about her very much so far in Ginger, because the instrumentation, the composition, those kind of things have blown me away so much that they've kind of taken priority. We're at a point in the song now where, because there's sort of recycling things, you know, it's got a bit more of a traditional kind of song structure, this one, to some of the other things they've done. And, you know, so like when the chorus comes around there, because I've figured out the groove on that, now I'm no longer honing in on that. So I was able to just sort of nicely sort of groove along to that. And it became so much more obvious now what she was doing. And just listen to the hooks, you know, the melodic choices, very catchy, very heartfelt, beautiful singing, really beautiful singing. Chord choices as well. Another thing it reminded me of is I've always kind of been of the opinion that if a song, despite how ornate or complex a song is, if a song can be played on an acoustic guitar and sung, and it still sounds good, to me that's usually a sign of a good song. I don't know where I got that from, but I kind of still live by that a wee bit. You know, if you hear something that's been completely stripped back, almost like it's unrecognizable from, you know, like this would be a good example because it's obviously very virtuosic playing. But that chorus there, I mean, if you just imagine somebody sitting playing the chords, strumming along with it, it's very strong what's happening there. And it's very hooky and catchy. And I think that's a really important ingredient in music. You know, I think there's a lot of bands that, you know, if you were to deconstruct their work, it might not hold up that well. I can tell from this that it really would.
Judgement, son your own punishment. Your judgment, your punishment.
Anybody home?
It's a cool video as well. Something different. I finally learned my lesson with Ginger. Like, you know, when things seem like they're over, just wait. Because a lot of the time they're not over. Yeah, I really should let that run today. I think the rest of that's just an advert, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, listen, really enjoyed this one as well. So, yeah, thanks very much for watching. And I'm going to do, what's the other one? Retrospection. You know, so I'll get that one done shortly as well. Fired out. Yeah, so keep requesting. Let me know what you thought. And yeah, I'll see you all again next time. Thanks.